Hello everyone, my name is Quetzali and this is my video about the history of English language teaching. Well, we will start with classical method. It was a method applied around the 18th and 19th centuries, and it was commonly used in educational institutions. Also, it was focused on reading skills, grammatical rules, memorization of vocabulary, conjugation, translations of text, and etc. Then, in the 19th century, the name of the method changed to grammar translation method. Again, it was focused on grammar rules and translation using the first language as base. And it was implemented into many educational contexts. The lessons which use this method are traditional. For example, use of list vocabulary, reading text, exercises, and pronunciation is not encouraged. The main advantage is using test of grammar rules and translation are easily to construct and provide, and it's possible to standardize the English level. Now we have the series method. Francis Goin established the series method, caused by his last failure learning Germany, using traditional methods. As a result, he started to analyze his 3-year-old nephew, and his suppressive process of motor language occurred. He proposed the first lesson of foreign language, which consists on 50 sentences using a large number of grammatical properties, vocabulary items, word orders, and complexity. Later, around 1900s, Charles Bertitz considered the series method in order to create and present the principles of the direct method. Some examples are learn new vocabulary every day, developing speech, listening, and grammar, classroom instructions in target language, etc. This method is recommended in private schools because it's very clement. For instance, special individual attention, intensive study, classroom size, lesson times, teachers' backgrounds, and it was such a popular method in the first quarter of the 20th century, but after a while it had declined in Europe and in the USA. Now we have the army method. When the World War broke out in 1939, the USA needed a method to learn oral skills as much as fast students could learn it, and they provided this method, named Army Specialized Training Program, and it present successful results. That's the reason sooner or later it was implemented in educational institutions, where its name changed to audiolingual method. The audiolingual method, or ALM, it was grounded in linguistic and psychological theory in 1940s and 1950s. Some characteristics of the ALM are the use of tape languages labs and visual aids. There is not grammatical explanation and very little use of mother tongue. Materials were carefully prepared, tested, and dismissed by educational institutions. Then we have cognitive code learning. This method manifests interest in generative transformational grammar and focused attention on rule, government, natural language, and natural acquisition. It's a combination of audiolingual and grammar translation techniques. Also, it was an approach that emphasized a conscious awareness of rules, which can be applied to a second language acquisition. Now we'll check the design method of the Spirit 1970s. First, we have community language learning. By the decade of the 90s, some innovative methods took on considerable effective nature. The social dynamics were primary importance, and it was focused on beginner students, with the objective to be implemented in educational institutions. The CLL has many advantages. For example, socialization as the base of learning, competition against peers, and counselor aid motivation to students. We have the counseling learning model. This consists on students make a circle and they listen and repeat the counselor's translate sentences. Supporting of her or his help, students gradually moving away from dependency on the counselor until they achieve fluency to talk by themselves. Now we have Suggestopedia method. The Bulgarian Georgy Lozanov's 1979 so people could learn more than they believe, sure, under the right learning conditions. He invented a new learning method, which consists on listening Baroque music and being in a comfortable place in order to be as much as relaxed students could be while they were studying and learning. This method can be successfully applied on any linguistical level. Some advantages are the quickly association of new knowledge. However, Lozanovs present outstanding results about his own experiments, which scientific community consider hard to believe. Now we have the silent way. Gattegno introduced the method in 1963 in his book Teaching Foreign Language in Schools, The Silent Way, and he invented pedagogical material in order to improve learning process using different colors, routes, and wall charts. Richard and Rogers summarized the theory of learning behind the silent way. Also, it was a method especially helped to beginners because the objective of the method it was looking for independence, autonomy, and responsibility of the students. And it was an easily method applied in educational institutes because of the pedagogical material. Now we have Doral physical response. James Astor, 1977, proposed this method based on the principle of psychomotor association and child language acquisitions, as well as right brain functions. He proposed a way to learn, turning the classroom mood to other more child, relaxed, and even fun, where students feel comfortable and sooner or later they will want to participate and get involved during the classes. It was a easily method applied in educational institute, but it's not recommended to beginners because they don't have enough vocabulary yet. And this kind of method is especially for speakers. Now, and finally, we have the natural approach. Stephen Krashen's and Tracy Terrell developed in 1970s and 1980s the natural approach. It was aimed at the goal of basic personal communication skills. For example, listening audios, conversations, etc. And it was focused on students who are looking for improve their speaking and listening skills. This method is defined as three stages. The first, the pre-production stage, is the development of listening comprehension skills. The second one is the early production stage, is usually marked with heroes as a student struggles with the language, and the last one is the application and involving a complex language situation. For example, role plays or discussions. That's it. Hope you enjoy it and thank you so much to watch.